Alright folks, I'm doing it. Back on the AT, finishing up my section hike from last month. And I started at Winding Stair Gap off Highway 64 near Franklin, North Carolina. You can see the sign behind me. So I'm going south for 40 miles back to the Around the Bend hostel where my car is parked. And I got a shuttle, real nice shuttle driver by the name of Grace. Highly recommend you check her out if you need a shuttle in this area. She got me up here, so she doesn't charge as much as some because I checked around with the rates. And I'm back here, and actually we were talking about it, but being a section hiker affords you some privileges that through hikers don't. Get, I should say, and that's getting to pick when you're going to be out here on the trail. Like, for instance, I had crappy weather that I ended with last month. Well, the next 2 days is going to be great. Pure sunshine and 60s in the day and mid 30s at night. So very happy with the weather. So anyway, let's make some miles because I'm going to try and get to the next shelter. It's about 3.5 miles as I remember. First good view. Be a nice primitive camping spot. Trail's right down here. I'm at a road crossing. The Standing Indian Campground. I've been here before. I did this section before I had a YouTube channel. Alright, I made it to the Rock Gap shelter and I made pretty good time. Hour and 14 minutes. I covered the 3.5 miles in that time, so it's about 6 o'clock. I don't know, I could make it to Long Branch shelter. It's another 3.5 miles. I'm a little tired. I worked today, got up early, so I might crash here. It's a privy behind me. They got a new privy. Here's the old one. It's boarded up. Decommissioned. The shelter's down here with the pipe spring right beside it. It's kind of a different looking shelter. Real open. Here's the shelter and the pipe spring right beside it. Right down there. Show you the inside. Raised platforms for tents up there. There you go. It says it's an 8-person shelter. I'd say if you want to be cramped, be more comfortable to do like 4 people. And even that would be too cramped for my liking. Even if you know each other and like each other. Hell, I snore, so wouldn't be a good idea. Alright, so I decided to leave that last shelter. There were acorns and stuff in it and mouse traps. I mean, I wasn't going to spend the night in the shelter anyway. I was probably going to stay in my tent right outside the shelter. But I wanted to make a couple more miles, so had some more energy left in me. Figured I could do the other 3.5 miles to the next shelter. And it is windy. So 3.5 miles to Long Branch shelter, and I'll talk to you guys a little bit later. Good morning, folks. It is day 2 out here on the AT. I spent the night at the Long Branch shelter, which was 3.5 miles away from the Rock Gap shelter. So I want to show you around real quick because I'm going to leave in 2 minutes. There's the privy. Shelter's up there. This is a tent pad right here. There's supposed to be 4. I saw 3, which is another one there. And there's the one that I had my tent. I'll show you the shelter real quick. This is a newer shelter. It was built in 2013 to replace Another one not far away. Double bunker. There was one guy here last night. He's already left. I didn't want to make a lot of noise, so I opted to sleep down there on the tent pad in my tent. It's a pretty nice shelter though. Fire pit. And there's a trail leading out into the water source. So alright then, we'll be talking again soon. Alright, this is the Albert Mountain Fire Tower. I think I'm going to have to climb it. I'll show you the view first. Isn't that glorious? Man. Get the awkward moment of me climbing, being afraid of heights. Give witness, because I'm climbing it. Views are getting better and better. Let's muster up the final courage. Oh man, it was worth it to come up here. I dedicate this one to you, Sean, since I know you love fire towers. Here's the view from the top of Albert Mountain Fire Tower. Near Franklin, North Carolina. Man. Came up those steps. It wasn't as bad as Shuckstack Fire Tower in the Smokies, but it was still scary. Just don't look down. Give you a look around. Here's the door. Locked. Alright, I remember how steep this section was going down, going southbound. It's real steep. Rocky. Slow going. So I've got this little tracker dog following me. He's been following me for the best part of a mile. Stopped to take a break here at this stream, and he's just hanging out. He's the third one I've seen out here on this stretch of trail. The last one was following another hiker, and he was on a day hike. I just don't want him to follow me all the way to camp, and then I have to feel responsible for him. But he's got a tracking collar. I'm sure they know where he's at. It's nice to have the company, though. If I'm not mistaken, this is where I camped 2 years ago. I remember the fire pit. I remember seeing it from the trail right there. And I remember it was my first time hammock camping. I put my hammock between, I think it was these two trees right here. Or it might have been back there. Either way, I remember this very distinctly. It was windy. It was chilly that night, even though it was July. And then the next morning was bright and sunny like this. So almost to standing Indian now. Alright, so this is where I came 2 years ago, to this trail junction here. And I didn't actually summit Standing Indian Mountain, which I'm going to do now. There were a bunch of people camping up there, and I didn't want to disturb them because it was early in the morning and they were still asleep. This is the trail I took to make the loop back to the Standing Indian Campground. It was about 20 miles, if I remember correctly. I used the AT from, I think it was just north of Albert Mountain down to here to make the loop. So let's summit the mountain and I'll show you guys what it looks like. Alright, here's the view from Standing Indian Mountain. Quite impressive. This ranks up there with the top, in my opinion. Kind of want to camp here, but I know I should press on and make the extra 5 miles so I don't have to do it tomorrow. Just means I'll have to come back here with some friends and camp. But yeah, this is friggin' amazing. I'm really impressed. Can't believe I missed out on it the last time. Yeah, I'm glad I could be here this time, because last time I missed this. It's too good to miss. Glad I could share it with you guys. Good morning, everyone. It is day 3 on the AT, just after 8 a.m. and I'm back on the trail. I'm sorry I couldn't get any footage of the shelter. I stayed at the Muskrat Creek shelter with another gentleman by the name of Harpo. I stayed in my tent. Yeah, it was dark when I got there. It was after 8. Sun sets at around 7. Complete darkness is a little after 7:30. So yeah, I couldn't really get much of that, but anyway, I'm going to make 12 miles back to Dix Creek Gap. and the Around the Bend hostel to finish up this section. So here we go. I'll be showing you guys a little bit more as we go along. And here's the first good morning view. Fog in the valleys. Beautiful. Always love these early morning views. Great weather again. Man, I picked a good time to be out here. Sure beats the last time I was out here. Which is why I say section hikers can afford to hike in better weather. May not be the toughest thing, but you know what? It's the best thing. Wow, I could tell you that going north would have been a lot harder. At least in this section, because there's a lot more climbs. I've been going downhill. That's tough in its own right, but I think I'd rather go downhill, honestly. Nothing wrong with my knees, just that it would tire you out having all these hill climbs. That's what Georgia was going north. But going south seems to be easier here, so just a word of advice. If you want to do it, maybe it would be easier to do it southbound, at least from Winding Stair Gap down to Dix Creek Gap in Georgia. Here we go. North Carolina is officially done. Entering Georgia. Northbound, southbound. I think this is one of my final climbs here from Culver Gap. 1.8 miles away from Dix Creek Gap. All right, folks, nearing the final stretch here. Got about a mile left before I get to Dix Creek Gap and finish up the 511 miles that I've been wanting to do. Well, I started doing about 2 years ago. And I know I haven't recorded every single section. Again, that's because I didn't have a YouTube channel when I started this journey. But I can go back there and start documenting those at some point in time. However, I know that this has been a multi-part adventure on account of me having a job. I'm not a through hiker. I don't claim that fame. I'm a section hiker, and I fit this in on my days off. And this year, I'm closing up this final section here. If you watched my last journey here in Georgia, I got rained on the last 2 days, so finished up with really good weather here. This final 40-mile section from Winding Stair Gap down to Dix Creek Gap in Georgia. So everything was really great for this trip. And I had finished the Smokies earlier in the summer, 2 parts to that one. And I did 2-day hikes. One from Yellow Creek Gap to Fontana Dam Road, and then another one from Stokoa Gap to Chiowa Bald. So that finishes up the AT from Springer Mountain, Georgia, all the way up to Fox Creek, Virginia, and Grayson Highlands. 511 miles, including the approach trail, which I did the 8.8 miles of that to Summit Springer when I started the Georgia section. So I'll let you know that Georgia's not my favorite section. It had its moments, but the pointless ups and downs, PUDs, take you up only to go down, to go back up, and the views are further and fewer far between. However, there are views. I'm not knocking Georgia. It was good. It was a good experience. Met great people. I like North Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia more, but again, Georgia had its moments that I enjoyed. So, favorite parts of the trail that I've done so far were Roan Mountain. I've done that multiple times. I documented it on my channel. Just go back to my previous videos if you want to see that. One is a GoPro music video, if you will. I was thinking about going back and doing that again at some point in time just to document it more fully. But Grayson Highlands in Virginia is also a favorite. And there are other parts I like a lot, like Hot Springs, Fire Scald Ridge, Max Patch, of course, everybody loves Max Patch. Well, there's so many good points. So many good points of interest. Westerwald, Weyerwald. And this section that I've done, Standing Indian, really impressed me a lot. And so did Albert Mountain Fire Tower. Like I said, last time I was there 2 years ago and did that loop from the campground, I didn't see Standing Indian, so that was really impressive. So, yeah, would I do the trail on a through hike? I don't know. If I could, I probably would. If I didn't have to worry about money or obligations. But section hiking is really great too, because you can get the best of everything from doing it. Best weather, best opportunity, you know. So it's been a great journey. I want to thank a lot of people that have helped me along the way and offered me moral support, like my girlfriend, my friends. You've seen a few of them come along with me on the journey, on a few segments of the journey and other trips. I want to thank Lisa and Gordon from Around the Bend Hostel, where I'm heading back to get my car. They've been really helpful. When I had to get off the trail last month, they were really helpful. And I want to thank Grace, the shuttle driver who took me up to Winding Stair Gap. Very nice lady. Doesn't charge as much as some of the other shuttle drivers who seem to gouge. I want to thank Splitter from the Mountain Crossings Outfitters in Neels Gap, Georgia. Really nice guy. Through hiked the trail. A lot of these shuttle drivers have through hiked, and now they're just offering help to the section hikers and through hikers by shuttling them. Really great people. So can't say enough good about them. So anyway, yeah, folks, thanks again for watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, or just send me a comment. Let me know you're watching, you know. It helps me out a lot, and I got a lot more trips scheduled. I'll probably work on sections. All right, it's done. And I just gotta walk 6/10 of a mile on the road back to the Around the Bend Hostel. Get my car and heading home. Thanks for watching.